The presence of Chinese and Russian warships near U.S. territorial waters, particularly off the coast of Alaska, signifies a growing shift in global naval power and an increasing willingness by these nations to challenge the traditional dominance of the U.S. Navy. The strategic location of Alaska, with its proximity to both the Arctic and the Pacific, makes it a critical area of interest for global powers. The Arctic, once an inaccessible and largely ignored region, has gained significant geopolitical importance due to its vast natural resources and newly accessible maritime routes. The recent naval maneuvers in the area are not random, but a calculated demonstration of military strength, a test of U.S. resolve, and a signal to the world that China and Russia are deepening their military cooperation. This is not the first time such naval operations have occurred, but the scale and coordination between the two powers have become increasingly sophisticated. The deployment of 11 warships near Alaska was a carefully planned maneuver, demonstrating the capability of these nations to operate jointly in close proximity to U.S. territory. While the operation remained within international waters, it sent a strong message that China and Russia are prepared to assert themselves on the global stage. These military exercises are not merely symbolic. They serve as a reminder that naval power is still a key component of global influence and deterrence. The U.S. military's response to these maneuvers was immediate, as naval destroyers were deployed to track and shadow the Chinese and Russian flotilla. The U.S. Navy's ability to quickly respond to such situations highlights its preparedness, but the increasing frequency of these encounters raises concerns about the future of naval engagements between these world powers. While there was no direct confrontation, the potential for miscalculations or misunderstandings in such high-stakes situations is ever present. A minor misstep, an aggressive maneuver, or a miscommunication could escalate tensions rapidly, leading to a situation that neither side desires but might struggle to control. The growing collaboration between China and Russia in naval operations suggests a strategic alignment of their military ambitions. For China, expanding its naval presence in the Pacific and Arctic is part of its long-term plan to establish itself as a global maritime power. China's naval buildup in recent years has been unprecedented, with new aircraft carriers, destroyers, and submarines being added to its fleet at a rapid pace. This modernization aims not only to secure its own territorial interests in the South China Sea, but also to extend its influence beyond its immediate region. Joint operations with Russia provide China with valuable experience in operating alongside another major military power, strengthening its capabilities for future conflicts or strategic deployments. For Russia, maintaining a strong naval presence near its eastern territories and the Arctic is crucial for asserting its sovereignty and control over vital waterways. Russia's military doctrine has increasingly emphasized the importance of the Arctic, where melting ice is opening up new shipping routes and access to untapped natural resources. By conducting joint naval operations with China, Russia is signaling its ability to operate far from its home bases and coordinate complex maneuvers with another major power. This partnership benefits Russia by reinforcing its presence in the Pacific and challenging U.S. naval dominance in the region. The Arctic has become a contested space where military activity is likely to increase in the coming years. Climate change is rapidly altering the landscape of global trade and resource competition, and nations are positioning themselves to take advantage of these shifts. The U.S. has long recognized the strategic value of Alaska and has made efforts to bolster its military presence in the region. Investments in military infrastructure, including radar systems, air defense capabilities, and naval facilities, are designed to ensure that the U.S. can respond to any potential threats. However, as China and Russia continue to expand their operations, the pressure on the U.S. to reinforce its defenses will only grow. One of the key challenges facing the U.S. military is how to effectively counter the increasing presence of Chinese and Russian forces without escalating tensions unnecessarily. Military deterrence must be balanced with diplomatic engagement to prevent misunderstandings that could lead to conflict. The U.S. regularly conducts its own naval operations in contested regions, such as the South China Sea, as part of its freedom of navigation exercises. These operations are meant to reinforce the principle that international waters should remain open to all nations. However, as more countries assert their military presence in these critical areas, the risk of direct confrontations grows. Naval strategy in the 21st century is no longer solely about battleships and large fleets engaging in direct combat. The rise of advanced missile systems, cyber warfare, and surveillance technology has changed the nature of naval engagements. Modern warships are equipped with sophisticated radar, electronic warfare capabilities, and missile defense systems that make direct engagements less likely but more unpredictable. The increasing use of unmanned systems, including drones and autonomous submarines, further complicates the naval battlefield. In this evolving environment, nations must constantly adapt their strategies to remain effective in deterring threats and protecting their interests. The show of force by China and Russia near Alaska is also a test of U.S. alliances and partnerships. The U.S. has long-standing security commitments to its allies in the Pacific, including Japan, South Korea, and Australia. These allies closely watch U.S. responses to such challenges, as they rely on American military strength to maintain regional stability. A weak or delayed response could raise concerns among U.S. allies about America's ability to defend shared interests. On the other hand, an overly aggressive stance could provoke a reaction from China or Russia, further destabilizing the region. Striking the right balance is a delicate task that requires strategic patience and careful diplomatic maneuvering. Naval power has long been a fundamental component of global influence. Throughout history, dominant empires and world powers have relied on strong navies to project strength, protect trade routes, and secure territorial waters. In the 21st century, this dynamic has evolved with the integration of advanced technology, cyber warfare, and missile capabilities, making direct confrontations less predictable. Today's naval encounters are often characterized by carefully orchestrated maneuvers, intelligence-gathering missions, and displays of force designed to test adversaries' reactions. One of the most critical factors shaping naval encounters is the doctrine of deterrence. Deterrence is a strategy aimed at preventing adversaries from taking aggressive actions by demonstrating the capability and willingness to respond forcefully if necessary. This principle has been at the core of military strategy since the Cold War, particularly in the realm of nuclear deterrence. However, in naval operations, deterrence is also expressed through freedom of navigation exercises, strategic deployments, and joint military drills with allied nations. The goal is to send a message of strength while maintaining enough ambiguity to avoid triggering an outright conflict. The presence of multiple nuclear-armed nations engaging in naval competition further complicates matters. Unlike conventional warfare, where conflicts can be contained within specific theaters, a naval confrontation between nuclear powers carries the risk of rapid escalation. Even a minor skirmish at sea could trigger a series of retaliatory measures, ultimately leading to broader conflict. This is why naval encounters between these nations are conducted with extreme caution, often accompanied by diplomatic backchannels to de-escalate tensions. Naval posturing also plays a significant role in shaping international perceptions. A country's ability to operate its naval forces effectively in contested waters is not just a demonstration of military strength, it is also a political statement. The ability to deploy warships, aircraft carriers, and submarines in strategic locations serves as both a deterrent and a reassurance to allies. For example, the U.S. Navy regularly conducts patrols in the South China Sea to affirm its commitment to maintaining freedom of navigation, reinforcing its presence in the Indo-Pacific. Similarly, China's naval expansion, including its growing fleet of aircraft carriers and destroyers, signals its ambitions to challenge the existing maritime order. Another important aspect of managing naval encounters is the use of diplomatic frameworks and communication channels. Historically, military-to-military dialogues, confidence-building measures, and international agreements have helped reduce the likelihood of unintended clashes at sea. Treaties such as the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, provide legal guidelines for maritime operations, while direct communication lines between naval commanders help clarify intentions and prevent miscalculations. However, in recent years, some of these diplomatic mechanisms have been strained due to increasing tensions between rival nations. The breakdown of certain arms control agreements and a decline in diplomatic engagement have raised concerns about the growing potential for accidental confrontations. Technological advancements have also changed the nature of naval encounters. Modern warships are equipped with advanced surveillance and targeting systems, allowing nations to monitor adversaries from a distance. The development of hypersonic missiles, cyber warfare capabilities, and artificial intelligence in military applications has further transformed naval strategy. Autonomous drones and unmanned submarines are now being integrated into naval operations, adding another layer of complexity to military engagements. These technologies provide strategic advantages but also introduce new uncertainties, as nations must adapt their defense systems to counter emerging threats. The role of alliances in naval power projection cannot be overlooked. The U.S. maintains strong military partnerships with key allies in the Pacific, including Japan, South Korea, and Australia. These alliances enhance collective security and provide a strategic counterbalance to China and Russia's naval ambitions. In response, China has strengthened its maritime cooperation with Russia, conducting joint exercises that signal a growing partnership between the two nations. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on global military developments. Stay informed and stay prepared as we continue to analyze the shifting tides of power on the world's oceans.